Hey there, and welcome to the 5 Rules of Wealth. Follow these 5 rules and you will have wealth. But if you ignore or let yourself remain ignorant of these rules, then you'll end up with poverty and financial struggle. Hi there, my name is JT Patino, founder of Pinoy Money Academy, where we have helped tens of thousands of Filipinos get out of debt, increase their income, and grow their savings and investments so that ultimately they can bring their families closer to a life of financial freedom and abundance. Now, this training that I'm about to share with you, it's been proven to work by our thousands of students already, and I'm so excited and happy to share this training with you today. Now, before I jump straight into the 5 rules, I'd like to give you a quick overview of how this training series works so you can maximize it. So, in this training series, you'll learn about the 5 rules that lead to wealth. This is a huge topic, so I've broken it down into 3 parts. In the first training video, we will discuss rules 1 and 2, which deal with the nature of wealth. Basically, we'll talk about what is wealth and what does it mean to have it. In part 2, I'll share with you the next set of rules, 3 and 4, which talk about the choice of wealth, meaning what does it mean to choose wealth in our everyday decisions. Then, in part 3, you'll learn about rule number 5, which is about the progression towards wealth. And this will show you the long-term transformation you can expect in your life when you put these 5 rules into action. I've also created learning complements to help you absorb these lessons. First is that you can download the transcript of each lesson below these videos. So if you've got slow or limited internet, or if you just prefer to read, then go ahead and download and read the lesson instead. Additionally, I've provided a worksheet for you for each lesson. This contains a short exercise that will help you quickly apply the lessons. And since we've got 3 parts to this series, you will gain access to the 3 worksheets, each one designed to help you apply the lessons you learn here directly into your life. And that's it for the intro. I know you're excited and I'm excited for you, so let's get started. Here is rule number 1. Wealth is an important skill, study it. To fully understand this rule, let's break it down into its 3 major ideas. Number 1, wealth is a skill. Number 2, wealth is important. Number 3, wealth needs to be studied. We'll go through each one at a time. The first idea is, wealth is a skill. A common mistake that people think is that wealth is a status. That it's something you either have or don't have, that if you have a lot of money, you're immediately wealthy. And if you don't have money, then you don't have wealth. But that's just the surface level understanding of what wealth really is. The reason why many people don't have wealth is because they don't know what wealth is. So listen closely. Wealth is the skill of money. It's the skill of earning money, of saving money, of spending money, of investing money, of protecting money, of preserving money, of multiplying money, of giving away money. If you are good at these things, you will have wealth. But if you are lacking in money skills, then you will not have wealth. Instead, you'll have financial problems, you can easily be scammed, lose money in investments, or be in debts, and struggle day to day, never having enough. Wealth is not just a status. It is first and foremost a skill. Now, let's go to the next big idea. Wealth is an important skill. You might be thinking that this is pretty basic. Of course, wealth is important. Every day we use money to buy food, pay the bills, for gas, for entertainment, for tuition. So what's the point? Well, here's the reality. Many people know that money is important, but they also think that it's not that important. That's why we have popular sayings like, money can't buy happiness. There's more to life than money, diba? And when you're asked which is more important, what will you answer? Family or wealth? Family? Wealth or God? God, of course. Love or wealth? It's definitely love. If this is the case, then it seems like money and wealth is the least important of all. That when you compare money to all other aspects of life, then money is no longer important. This thinking is what needs to be clarified in this rule. I will answer just how important money is, not by itself, but when it's compared to other aspects of life. What is really the purpose of money in our life? Here's the answer. Money is just a tool, a thing that you and I use to get certain things in life. And money being only a tool, there are situations when it's super useful and there are situations when it's totally useless. That's how tools work. For example, a hammer. A hammer is very useful if you want to put on nails. But if you want to cut wood, then a hammer is totally useless. No matter how hard you hit that piece of wood, you won't be able to cut through it. If you use a hammer to cut a piece of wood, what will people call you? Crazy! Because you are using a tool for its wrong purpose. Now, we know that if you want to cut a piece of wood, what you need is a saw. But can we really say that a hammer is more important than a saw, or a saw is more important than a hammer? Of course not, because both tools have different uses, and so both are important. This should be our same approach when it comes to money. Money is useful for buying food, shelter, and our other needs and wants, but it's totally useless in other situations. Money can't give you real friendships. It can't give you love. But at the same time, we can't say that love is more important because love can't buy us food. Love can't pay for your electricity bills. Just try it. When you receive your next Meralco bill, write a love letter saying, "Dear Meralco, you bring the light in my life. I can't live without you. Lovingly yours, subscriber account number 143 143 143. If you do that, you won't get free electricity. You'll get a disconnection notice. So, next time you're asked, which is more important? Love or money? God or money? Family or money? Simply answer, both. Both are important. You don't have to choose one over the other because both are important. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, so what? What if wealth is important? This brings us to the third idea in this lesson. We've already covered that wealth is a skill and wealth is important. What now? Therefore, we should study it. Think about this for a moment. Every day, we use money. We make money decisions. But why is it that money was never taught in schools? We studied the solar system, the planets. We were taught about Filipino literature, Ibong Adarna. We even had subjects like good manners and right conduct. We learned and developed a lot of valuable life skills in school. But why is it that we weren't taught about how to create a budget so you can save regularly, manage a credit card so you don't get buried in debts, or invest so you can prepare wisely for your retirement? Money is a part of everyday life. Why isn't it being taught? There's a simple answer, and I'll tell you it's 3 words: conflict of interest. And it's the main reason why we aren't being taught about money. If you ask the big businesses, should you teach financial literacy in school? They will answer, no, because if everyone knew what value meant, who would buy my stuff which costs 10 pesos to make, but I sell it for 100 pesos? If you ask the banks, should you teach financial literacy in school? They will answer, no, because if everyone knew how to avoid debts, how can we make money from interest and penalty fees? Who would take out our loans? If you ask insurance companies, should you teach financial literacy in school? They will again answer, say no, because if everyone knew that insurance is not really an investment, who would buy our products that are appealing to the market but is actually more expensive than other options? If you ask the investment companies, should you teach financial literacy in school? They will say yes, so that more people will invest and we can earn more from our management fees. But don't teach them too much because they will learn that our fund managers can't beat the market average. If you ask politicians, should you teach financial literacy in school? They'll say yes, but only because it's a popular topic and can gain me votes. So let's make a law, but implement it as slowly and as poorly as possible so that I can continue to buy votes in the province for just a few thousand pesos. Conflict of interest. It's a big problem, and you will encounter this a lot with many people who will give you so-called financial advice. So, what can we do as average working Filipinos? Well, this is why the responsibility to study money falls on us as individuals. It falls on you. It's your job to educate yourself on what's right and what's wrong when it comes to financial decisions. It's not the government's job. It's not your parents' job. It's not your boss's job. It is your responsibility and no one else's. Why? Because only you can act without conflict of interest. Only you can act in your best interests. So, you've got to equip yourself with the right financial knowledge so you can make smart financial decisions in your life. Because the reality is, your current financial situation is a result of the things you know and the things you don't know about money. Your financial problems, struggles, and worries are a result of bad money decisions. And why do we make bad money decisions in the first place? Because of the things we don't know about money. On the other hand, your financial success, your financial security and freedom is caused by good money decisions. And what is the root of good money decisions? It's caused by the things you know about money. So, if you truly acknowledge that money is important, you will dedicate time to study and understand how money and wealth really works. And that's rule number 1, and the most important of all. Wealth is an important skill. Study it. All right. Rule number 2, listen up, because some people have a hard time accepting this one. Rule number 2 is, wealth is a values catalyst. Desire it. Ano daw? Okay, let's break it down into its main ideas. Number 1, wealth is a catalyst, and I'll explain what a catalyst means in a while. Number 2, wealth is a values catalyst, and I'll explain this one too. Finally, number 3, wealth should be desired. So, let's begin with the first idea. What is a catalyst? In everyday use, a catalyst refers to a thing that causes an event to happen much faster. For example, Ninoy Aquino's assassination was a catalyst for the EDSA revolution. Back in the 1980s, people were already getting fed up with the government, and so a revolution was already bound to happen. But Ninoy's assassination was the catalyst that made the revolution happen much faster. And now that you know what a catalyst means, let's go to the next big idea. That is, wealth is a values catalyst. We all have unique values. We all have different standards and ideas on what it means to be a good person. And basically, those are our personal values. Now, wealth as a values catalyst means that having wealth allows you to express your own personal values better. Let me repeat that. Wealth allows you to express your own values better. Take note, wealth does not give a person a new set of values, nor does it take away from a person's values. It just amplifies, magnifies that person's set of already existing values. Take, for example, generosity. If a person is already generous, no matter how much money he or she has, they will subconsciously find ways to be generous, whether that's in a small or big way. If you give a generous person wealth, they will find ways to use that money in a way that benefits others. But if a person is already selfish, no matter how much wealth you give them, they will continue to be selfish and act in their self-interest. This is the meaning that wealth is a values catalyst. It allows you to express your values better. This leads us to the main point of rule number 2. Wealth is a values catalyst, so desire it. It is good to desire wealth. Now, I know some of you hearing that for the first time may feel that parang may mali. It's good to desire wealth. Something feels wrong. Hearing that line may feel like it's going against your conscience. It may even make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But if you're willing to stay with me here, allow me to explain to you why you might be feeling that way. In the early parts of this lesson, you already learned that we generally lack financial education as a people, no one really taught us about money. And so, as human beings that learn through experience, we have had to subconsciously learn about money through observation. So, if desiring wealth feels like it's going against your conscience, then it's because you might have subconsciously learned from these three sources. The first source that makes us believe that wealth is evil: the filthy rich. Here are your scammers, corrupt officials, tax evading and immoral businessmen, etc., etc. We often hear about them in the news and it just makes your blood boil. It makes you angry. It's sad that there are people like that. And whenever we see people like them, it makes us say things like, it's okay to be poor. At least I have my principles. Or it's okay that my salary isn't that big. What's important is that I earned it through honest work. But saying these things, it creates a huge problem because it makes you think that because they are rich, they lack values. And so it makes us want to stay away from wealth. It makes you not want to be rich. But the sad truth is, the filthy rich have probably been lacking integrity for a long time already, and wealth just came into their lives. So, the proper way to deal with the filthy rich is to still aspire to become wealthy, but not follow them in their immoral, illegal, and unethical ways. Don't let their bad examples stop you from aspiring to become wealthy. Remember, wealth is a values catalyst. So if you want to see more good in the world, aspire to become wealthy so you can express your good values in a bigger way. Now, let's go to the next group that makes us believe that money equals evil. This group is the media and the entertainment industry. In movies, bad guys are the rich and powerful. In telenovelas, there's always this rich person preventing the love team from getting together. Similarly, we hear stories being retold over and over again about families fighting about money, fighting about inheritance. The story is pretty much the same every single time. You just have different names of the shows, different characters, different actors, but the plot is the same. Evil rich family versus the poor but good guys. The sad consequence is this: you end up with a distorted sense of reality. Again, it makes us want to believe that money is evil. But money can't be good or evil. It's just a tool. So, whenever you watch a story wherein the rich are portrayed as the enemy, remember that it's just entertainment and not reality. Because imagine if the hero of the story had it all: attractive, rich, good family values, loyal, with a sense of humor, flawless, perfect. Then that would be boring. There's no conflict, no thrill, no suspense, no excitement. At the same time, if the bad guy was made to be a weakling, so he's inherently evil, and then poor, and ugly, with no redeeming qualities whatsoever, then he becomes a useless enemy. Also, boring. For entertainment to be entertainment, there has to be conflict. There has to be always two sides. In the case of love stories, there has to be a third party. So if a character is rich, he has to have a weakness. He has to have a bad family background or bad attitude. Or if a character is poor, then he has to have redeeming qualities like having a good heart, he has a very supportive family, and he has to get the leading lady. That is entertainment. And that is what we have to remember when watching these stories. It's not reality, but just entertainment. In this world, we have the good and wealthy. We have the good but poor. We have the evil but wealthy. We have the evil and poor. Being a good or bad person has nothing to do with the amount of money in your bank account. With that, let's now go to the last source that make it easy to believe that desiring wealth is bad. And this group is the church. This can get a little bit controversial, so listen in. Ever since, the church has always promoted a healthy spiritual life, and in doing that, many priests have ignorantly attacked materialism and money. They cite Bible verses like Matthew 6 verse 24, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." Or 1 Timothy 6 verse 10, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." Then you also have Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10, Whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. This too is meaningless. All of these verses are full of wisdom, but remember that you have to take them into context and see the bigger picture. Because actually, the Bible mentions money, wealth, and finance more than it talks about prayer, healing, and mercy. Really? Oh yes. Money is mentioned over 800 times, while prayer and pray is mentioned only about 500 times. Mercy is mentioned about 250 times, and healing is mentioned only about 50 times. God knew that money would be a very important part of man's life, so he talked about it a lot. And I don't mean to be preachy here. Here are some verses which tell you that money is important. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 2, divide your portion to 7 or 8, for you do not know what misfortune may occur on the earth. This verse is about saving money and preparing for tough times and building your emergency fund. In Matthew 22 verse 21, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's and to God the things that are God's. This verse is paying the right amount of taxes. In Proverbs chapter 12 verse 11, he who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who pursues worthless things lacks sense. This is about how hard and productive work will lead to financial abundance. And there are many more other verses about money. If you ask me, the Bible is a great source of financial advice, and we all have to realize that not learning about money in order to go to heaven, it doesn't make you holy. It only makes you ignorant. Another way of saying that is, learning and desiring money won't make you less holy, because by understanding money, you enslave it, you rise above it, so you can love God fully without worrying about money. This is why it's okay to desire money, that it's okay to aspire to become wealthy, because it allows you to express your good and moral values at a higher level. And that's rule number 2. Wealth is a values catalyst. Desire it. Now, before I do the full recap of this training, I'd like to invite you to download the worksheet in the link below this video, where you'll see a quick and fun exercise that will help you identify your own personal values. You see, many people aren't aware of what values they hold dear to their heart. You know, they can feel it, they have a sense of it, but they haven't been able to put it into words. So this worksheet exercise is meant to help you see clearly what more wealth would actually bring to your life and which values you'll be able to express at a higher level. And when you're able to fully discover your own values, it's going to give you a sense of peace, that it's actually good to study and desire money. So check out the worksheet below. You're going to find so much value there. And with that said, let's do a quick recap. Today's lesson is all about the nature of wealth. You learned that 1, wealth is a skill and not just a status. That the more money skills you have, the more wealth comes to you. You also learned that number 2, wealth is important. It's a part of everyday life that deserves to be studied. However, because of conflict of interest, no one is really teaching about money, and there's a lot of misinformation going around. Therefore, number 3, it is our individual responsibility to study and learn about money. This captures the essence of rule number 1. Wealth is an important skill. Study it. In rule number 2, we tackled 2 more big ideas. 4, you learned that wealth is actually a values catalyst, meaning more wealth allows you to express your own personal values at a higher level. That's why number 5, it's good to desire wealth. These 2 ideas capture rule number 2, which is wealth is a values catalyst. Desire it. Now, if there's one thing that I hope you take away from this video, it's permission. Permission that yes, you can aspire and desire to become wealthy. That to dream and want to be rich is a good dream. And if you do the exercise in the worksheet below, you'll even discover that it's even a moral obligation to become wealthy. Now, if this video has been making sense for you, and you're now asking, yes, I desire to become wealthy, I'm ready to study money, how do I do it? Well, please look forward to the next lesson, which you'll receive in your email. You're going to learn about the next 2 rules of wealth that deal with the choice of wealth. You'll learn why some people find it easier to gain and achieve wealth, while others struggle even though they desire wealth just like everyone else. You'll learn all that and more in the next lesson. In the meantime, I'd like to ask you a favor. If you feel that the lessons you just learned here today will benefit your friends and family, please share it with them, either on email or your social media platform of choice. Talk about it in your day-to-day conversations, because I truly believe that financial literacy makes a huge difference in people's lives, and it's going to be with your help that we can impact more lives through financial education that's free from conflict of interest. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the worksheet and in the next lessons.